She's not what you'd expect. She's tough and feisty, but gentle and tender. She makes millions and gives millions to the poor. She cries, she laughs, she teaches, she comforts. This is the Dani Johnson Show.
Debt is so much fun when you're racking it up, right? It certainly can be fun, huh? And then... then it's time to pay it off. That ain't so much fun, is it? Hi, I'm Dani Johnson. Welcome to the Dani Johnson Show. All of us here at DaniJohnson.com are so very blessed that you decided to join us. I hope already your day is exactly what you want it to be. You know, having a good day is a choice. Having a good night is a choice. Having a good morning is a choice. It's all a choice. Yeah, we're not victims of our circumstances, are we? No way. Here on the Dani Johnson Show, every single day we bring to you content and topics that are designed to help you to succeed even greater than where already you are in your life. So whether you feel like you're at the top or you're at the bottom, friend, if you're at the top, you're going to have to maintain it and keep climbing. If you're at the bottom, oh, honey, it's time to get started. So today we're going to talk about money. Yeah, debt. We're going to talk about debt. Don't be afraid and don't get all weird about that. Listen, it's something almost all of us have gone into. It is a huge mistake for most of us. In fact, any of us that are honest will say that that was a big mistake. But about climbing out of it, how can we attack it? Recently, I was at a First Steps to Success, which is our training seminar. It's a 3-day training seminar to help you to succeed in your career or business, your money, and your relationships. Because we believe that success is personally defined by you. You can't have me define it for you. You can't have society. Certainly not society. Definitely not politics. They shouldn't decide it for you. Church can't even decide it for you. Unfortunately, maybe some of them try, but there's lots of different opinions about success. Here's what I do know. That best success book ever written says to train up a child in the way he should go. And when he is old, he will not return. He will not depart from it. So what's your definition? What's your bend? What do you want your life to look like? And especially today, on today's program, financially. What do you want your financial life to look like? Now, commit to this, that I don't care what your financial disasters and mistakes and decisions that you've made in the past. What matters is today. What matters from this day forward, how will you live financially? And you can make some of those decisions based on maybe some choices that you made in the past that you're not so proud of, and some decisions that you want to make for the future that you could be really, really proud of. So let's dive into that. So recently I'm at First Steps to Success, and we had 1,200 people in the room. So I asked the 1,200 people, tell me and describe for me what debt feels like. What does it feel like? What does it even smell like? Describe for me with the single word what debt feels like. Let me give you a list of just the few that were spoken. Someone said draining, suffocating, embarrassing, exhausting, ashamed, hopeless, paralyzed, buried alive. These are just some of the words that were used to describe how it felt to be in debt. So just like other problems that you have in your life, as we all do, you can overcome this one. And there are coping mechanisms that people use. People use coping mechanisms to deal with problems instead of turning a problem into a task. Because that's all a problem is. A problem is a task that is completely disguised with emotions. Yes, disguised with feelings and emotions, right? But it's just a task that needs to be done. So if you take the emotion out of the problem of debt and you turn your debt into a task list, something that needs to be taken care of, like taking out the trash, like washing the dishes, like taking a shower and brushing your teeth. These are all tasks that get done, and paying off your debt can be the same exact way. The difference is that you don't feel overburdened by brushing your teeth or taking out the trash. This way, you're going to lift off the terrible depth of debt that your body feels, the emotions that are being just cranked on, and your confidence that has been robbed because of those bills that show up every month, and you probably don't even know what you charged on your credit card. So of these 1,200 people, I have to tell you, this is such an amazing story. In the room, when we have 1,200 people at a First Steps, just like we've already have registered for our next First Steps to Success, which is, yeah, it's been amazing. It's been amazing. Anyway, so of the people that were there, we have a certain percentage of the room that are graduates. They've already gone through our war on debt system. And of them, we had 120 of them come forward to give their testimony about paying off debt. And out of the 120, $17.9 million worth of debt was paid off by 120 people. Can you believe that? Do you know 120 people? Yes, you do. Man, even just on Facebook or Instagram, how many followers do you have in those places? You know 120 people. Maybe you work with 120 people. Maybe your church has 500 people. You know 120 people. Could you imagine if you helped them pay off almost $18 million worth of debt? Could you imagine how phenomenal that would make you feel? How phenomenal it would be to know that you helped to save some marriages, because debt is a big cause for divorce. That you were the one to actually set the record straight for these families and helping them even raise their kids to be more wise financially instead of being financially completely retarded. Could you imagine if you were the one that you knew that you helped to change a generation financially? Because listen, money makes the world go round. We can't live without it. We can't eat without it. We can't even drink water without it. We can't be in a house without it. We have to have it. However, we don't need more than our share. We don't need more than what we've worked for, and we certainly don't need to borrow it from the future. Stop borrowing from the future. Let's start attacking the debt today. So we're going to talk about debt. We're going to talk about how to get out of debt. We're going to talk about how to annihilate that thing that is killing you slowly, 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 like a terrible, disgusting cancer. So let's talk about this. What is your plan, first of all, with getting out of debt? Or how is debt making you feel right now? We've got Michelle Cartone from Dayton, Ohio. Boy, you've had some exciting things happening over there in Ohio, by the way. Beautiful state. Michelle, welcome to the show.
Thank you, Dani. I appreciate you having me on.
Yes. So talk to me about debt and how it made you feel.
Yeah, debt is ugly. Due to a job loss of my husband, probably back in about 2008, when the job market and the housing market started to tank pretty bad. Mm-hmm. He lost his job. We have 4 children, and it took a toll on us. We didn't really have a backup plan at that time, so he took another job, very much underemployed, and I went to work as well, put our baby into daycare, and when we realized that the job that I took really wasn't moving our family forward.
Yep.
After you pay that daycare expense, we were drowning. I was miserable. I was overweight. I was so unhealthy. Mm-hmm. And in the midst of our financial ugliness, we had to file Chapter 13 bankruptcy.
Wow.
And in that bankruptcy, about 60% of my husband's pay went back to the bankruptcy court for 5 years.
Wow.
So here's a man with a master's degree bringing home 40% of his pay for a family of 6.
Wow.
Absolutely not going to cut it. And so I was just job searching, always looking for that better job with better benefits and better pay.
Yeah.
And it took a toll on us because of the financial situation we found ourselves in.
Yeah.
And honestly, it was relationships that had been broken, with my children.
Yeah.
Certainly our marriage was on the rocks. And I missed out on so much just because we were consumed with debt.
Yes.
And, our children would have conversations with us, and, I wouldn't have any recollection of that conversation because my mind was constantly on, oh my gosh, is that check going to bounce tomorrow? Or how are we going to pay this tuition that we send our kids to this school? And, after a while it got old. My kids were constantly saying, Mom, I told you that yesterday.
Yes.
You weren't listening. And, so it was just an ugly time. And, it's something that we didn't share. We kind of kept it in our own 4 walls. And, when I went out into the public, I painted that face on that everything is great.
Wow.
And, the reality of it is you walk back into your house and it's all still here.
Yes, yes. Michelle, one second. I got a question for you. So when you look back, gosh, thank you so much for being so transparent, by the way. That's so much humility in you to be able to just come forward and say everything that you just said. It says so much about your leadership and your character. So looking back, right, your husband's doing great in real estate, right? And you had not planned for the future. You had not planned or thought of living well below your means and making it work well below your means and socking money away for the inevitable turn of a market, because a market is always turning, always turning. And so if you could do it all different again, what would you have done during your husband's prosperous real estate years?
I'm sure we would have saved more than we
Meaning
spent.
if you knew what was coming, right? If you knew that within a few years that the market's going to turn, because it does, every 7 years there's a turn. But if you knew that, so let me just put it this way. You are who you are today, looking back. What would you say to the younger you before he lost his income?
I would probably say that we definitely needed to pay off the debt we had and live within our means, and that did not take place.
Yeah. So you guys were living above your means. You weren't paying off the current debt that you had. So you're going further in debt, and for what? Was it worth it?
Nope. No, we nearly lost everything. I mean, we nearly lost our home. We nearly lost our family. We nearly lost our marriage.
Wow.
No, it certainly wasn't worth it.
Wow. So, Michelle, when we continue back from the break, I want to hear what was the turning point? Like, what finally made the two of you realize that something had to change, and then what steps did you take moving forward to change it? You know, it's also interesting. We can always look back and say, man, I wish I could have done something different. But you said a mouthful right there. That, wow, if I could have spoken to my younger self, I would have said, pay off the current debt that you have, live below your means. Such a simple thing, and your family would not have suffered. And who knows, was there someone telling you that at that time? Was there a mom or a grandmother or a friend saying, guys, hold on. Yeah, you guys are doing great, but don't go into debt. Pay off your current debt. Live well below your means. Do not increase your lifestyle with your income. Keep your lifestyle low. Increase your savings, increase an investment account, start putting money away for the future, as well as put money aside for a fun budget that the family can go on a vacation. But that doesn't mean that we're on vacation every day eating out. That doesn't mean we're on vacation every day going shopping. You know what I mean? That doesn't mean that we're living this life of vacation while we're still holding down our jobs, but that we are being wise and planning and being strategic with what our finances are. This is awesome. And so, Michelle, I can't wait to hear what the turning point was, because you know what? Hans and I were in the same place. You know, we are of that foolish mindset, a poverty mentality that always spends more than you make or spends all that you make. And that just ends up in a disaster. This is Dani Johnson. We'll continue with more right after this.
The rest of Michelle's story is devastating. Stay tuned to hear what became their turning point next on The Dani Johnson Show.
Imagine living in a decrepit, unsafe hovel made of waste material on top of old mining tunnels that could explode and sink your home at any moment. Imagine no water to drink, no safe place to raise your children, no food for your starving baby. Imagine that your kids can't learn to read because they have to work to support the family instead of going to school. Could you imagine living in that kind of fear and hopelessness? This is exactly what families are dealing with in the poverty-stricken village of Santa Pancha, Nicaragua. These families can barely meet their basic food, water, and housing needs. We are transforming that village. Be a part of this miracle. I want you to go to the website now and learn how you can help. Go to kingsransom.org and click on Santa Pancha. There you can join with other warriors against poverty and help bring a miraculous transformation to Santa Pancha. That's kingsransom.org, kingsransom.org.
If you knew you couldn't fail, what would you do with your life? Discover your own answer. This is The Dani Johnson Show.
Dani, there's nothing I can do about my debt. Thank God I have Netflix. Thank God I have my Starbucks. You know, my debt is just too big of a problem. I can't even think about it. Okay, listen, everyone has coping mechanisms. Some people shop when they are in pain. Other people eat when they're in pain. Other people fight when they're in pain. Other people spend money foolishly. Some people gamble when they're in pain. Some people get addicted to pornography when they're in pain. All kinds of different coping mechanisms. Don't forget the alcohol and the drugs. Those are all coping mechanisms. They're not healthy. And this is exactly where so many of our friends, our family members, the people we go to church with, the people that we work with, this is where they're living because of debt. And they don't realize that it is hurting every area of their lives. That's exactly where Michelle and her husband found themselves after, of course, the market turned and they lost just about everything, including themselves, including their family. So, Michelle, that story is intense. And I love your transparency. What finally brought you and your precious husband to the place of saying, enough is enough, we have to fix this?
Two things happen, and they're going to seem extremely simple, but to us they were devastating.
Yep.
Our oldest daughter was a freshman in high school and going to a private school, and it was her first high school dance, and she wanted a new dress, and she came to us. And as a mom, I had to tell her no. I couldn't afford to buy my daughter a brand new dress to wear to her first high school dance.
Yep.
It rocked me to my core, brought me to my knees. What in the world is going on? We can't afford a dress.
Wow.
The second thing that happened was my youngest daughter, who was in grade school, left a $20 bill on my pillow and wrote with a note that said, Mom and Dad, you need this more than I do.
Oh, my God.
And it crushed us.
Wow.
It crushed us. That was it. That was our turning point.
Wow. So what did you do from there? And what year was this?
This was in 2010,
Wow.
11 time frame.
Wow.
So for about the past 3 years, we've just been working at our debt.
That's awesome.
We've been working so hard at our debt that we ended up being able to put a plan together. We had none before.
Yeah.
We put a plan together. We discharged our bankruptcy 5 months early. We paid off $152,000 worth of debt in the last 3 years. And we are rebuilding relationships in our household,
Amen.
with our children,
Amen.
with my husband.
Amen.
And it's a whole new world.
Amen. Michelle, this is so awesome. And here's something I got to tell you. When you were talking in the first segment about the debt, you said, my kids would be talking to me, but I wasn't listening. I was like, oh gosh, is that check going to bounce? Right? That's what you were thinking about, money. It's when money takes up its wrong position in our lives. When money becomes number one, first of all, it's a sign of greed. Most people think greed means you're some rich person who's stingy. That isn't it at all. Greed is when you are consumed with money, thinking about it all the time, whether you have too much or too little, thinking about money, thinking about money, thinking about money. This is where money became the number one priority in the household. And anytime the priorities are not in their proper order, everything else is in disorder. And so when you guys made the decision that our family matters more to us than this debt, and because the debt was the number one topic talked about, it was destroying the relationships, right? Money was the number one thought about, talked about, it consumed, because it was in the number one priority position. It can't ever be in the number one priority position. Money belongs somewhere near the bottom. And when you stop chasing money and thinking about money, it starts to flourish all around you and it begins to grow and it no longer has power over you. And I love what you said. We put our family ahead of money. As soon as we realized the relationships were more important, and attacking this debt was part of the healing process of restoring the relationships in our household. I'm really proud of you. I know we made so many mistakes financially. Our first 10 years of making millions of dollars, Michelle, and we had nothing. We had absolutely nothing but $100,000 in debt, credit card and car debt, $700,000 mortgage. The list goes on of the disasters that we walked ourselves through because money was our number one priority. And man, as soon as it was like, I could care less if I lose it all. I don't care if I lose it all. It doesn't matter. What matters more is this marriage has got to be what it needs to be. I need to be the mom that I need to be. I need to stop living in all of this stress and all of this pressure. And it's a tough decision to make, but you made that decision, Michelle. And I know that who is listening today, that there is a mom that's in the same situation you were years ago, who because of your story, because of the courage you had, because of those two humiliating experiences, that example has inspired another mom to say, enough is enough. Money cannot be my God anymore. This is Dani Johnson. We'll continue with more after this.
Go to DaniJohnson.com to find out about our next live event. First Steps to Success. Register today. Call 866-760-8255 or go to DaniJohnson.com/FSTS.
I just heard this amazing story. One of our clients had written us telling us that they had used job domination and unlimited success and has absolutely exploded their career. He said, Dani, I don't know where I'd be today without job domination and unlimited success. Listen, do you want more recognition from your coworkers? Do you want to be recommended to people all over the world? Do you want to be somebody that is highly sought after? Listen, if you're in a dead-end place where this gentleman found himself, but then learned new strategies and changed everything in his work life, and obviously this has resulted in higher bonuses and pay raises, you're next. 888-757-8880. Get your copy of Job Domination right now. 888-757-8880. Again, 888-757-8880. Job domination. That's what you need. It's time for you to dominate the job market and break through the rut that you're in. You cannot escape your responsibilities of tomorrow by evading it today. That is a powerful quote by Abraham Lincoln. You would have thought he lived today with, over a $16 trillion consumer debt this country, America alone has. I can't imagine what the consumer debt is worldwide. It's really disgusting to think about, but we can't. We can't escape our responsibilities of tomorrow by trying to forget about it today. We have to deal with it. We absolutely have to deal with it. This is Dani Johnson. Welcome to the show. Every day we are here talking about helping you to become more successful. Together, we're going to succeed even greater and do wonderful, powerful things together for our families, for our businesses, for our churches, for our communities, for the world at large. Together, if we can get an understanding of how simple it is to succeed, especially how simple it is to succeed financially. Man, it's a massive barrier that I had in my own heart and in my head where I thought it was so hard to succeed financially. And then I came into the truth that it wasn't hard at all. So we're talking about debt, how to overcome it. What is it doing to your life? Is it hurting or is it helping? Over here we have Anawa Turberg from Michigan. Welcome to the Dani Johnson Show.
Hi, Dani. How are you?
Your name is so beautiful, by the way.
Thank you.
Yes.
It's unique for sure.
Yes, very unique. I understand that. So tell me, how is debt what part is debt playing in your life?
Well, right now, I'm a single mother.
Yikes.
And I put myself through college. I'm the first person in my immediate family to have received their bachelor's degree.
Mm-hmm. Congratulations.
And the college debt is really looming over my head.
How much college debt is it?
It's about $40,000, which is not bad. I've been able to pay some of it out of pocket from jobs and things that I had. But, being the single mother, I got out and I had to take jobs that worked around my daughter's schedule. So they weren't necessarily what I went to college for. And when I was going to college, I actually was in a very bad car accident. I lost use of both of my hands. And was unable to complete the program that I intended on completing. So there was quite a large hiccup in my life.
Yeah, I want to pause you out really quick. Anyway, I want to point something out to you really quick. Okay, you're not going to like what I'm going to say. But
okay.
You listen to this show because you want truth, right?
Right.
And you want answers and you want solutions. So here, I'm going to give this to you, and I find it very common. Actually, it's just in all of us, to be honest with you. Don't use your daughter as an excuse for Don't use your daughter as an excuse for that season of your life that you chose not to get jobs that fit your degree. Mm-hmm. You're the one who chose to get pregnant.
Right. No.
Right.
And I had to take those jobs that weren't...
No. Hold it.
Okay.
I have a problem with the phrase, I had to because. Mm-hmm. I had to because is an excuse. I chose.
That was the reason.
No, hold it. But here's another. Anawa. That was the second thing I was going to get to.
Okay.
I had to because of the car accident. I had to because I was a single mom.
Okay.
Do you want to succeed financially?
Absolutely.
And who is responsible for helping you succeed financially?
Myself.
Exactly. Exactly. And who is responsible for every single financial choice you have made?
Myself.
Yes. And it's until we take personal responsibility with our choices, that is when we can begin to succeed, because you will be responsible for succeeding financially, and you are also responsible for the choices that you made financially in your past that you're not happy with that have put you in debt. Does that make sense?
I hear you.
So we have to get out of the habit of blame. We have to get out of the habit of shifting responsibility onto other people and other circumstances. And we simply have to say, I screwed up, period. I made the choice to be a single mom. I made that choice. I made the choice.
You're absolutely right.
I made the choice to go to college.
Knowing the circumstance through that, it was a much better decision to leave that relationship.
Anawa,
not put my
Anawa, you're still not listening. Because you just secretly, slyly blamed your husband as an abuser, which I did not know, nor did I need to know that he was an abuser. By saying, well, obviously I wasn't given the right, it was the circumstances. Quit blaming, period. Quit justifying. Because can I show you what it does?
Even within that, Dani, my question is,
I don't have an answer for you, Anawa, until you get the foundation. I do not have an answer for you until you get the foundation. Because no matter what I give you, no matter what strategy, because you've encountered tons of strategies, you've had tons of advice. What determines whether or not someone uses it is this: personal responsibility. What determines it is how I treat my past. Because if my past, I can justify my actions, and that means I currently justify my future, and I currently justify my present financial decisions. So what you're telling me is...
I've done that. I guess I was giving you a backstory on what has happened in my life. That's not necessarily where I'm at right now.
Anawa,
yeah.
Do you want to succeed financially?
Yeah.
When would you like to succeed financially?
Well, you put the work in, so...
When would you like to succeed?
Now.
Now would be good, right?
Right.
One of the keys, one of the top 3 keys in all of success in anything is no excuses, no blame, no justifying your past. None. Backstory or not backstory. I screwed up. I made the choice. I am in debt. I'm the only one that's going to get me out. Do you understand what I'm saying? Versus, I had to because I was a single mom. I had to take different jobs that didn't go with my degree. That's not true. There are plenty of single mothers who have figured out how to use their degree and take on a job that fit their degree. Plenty. We could probably find millions of them. But
No, I couldn't actually. It was speech pathology, and you have to have a master's degree, and I couldn't complete it. I got my bachelor's.
So you're trying to tell me you couldn't have taken a job that had to do with speech? You trying to tell me you couldn't have taken a job in a school that was helping kids with speech, even if you didn't have the degree?
You cannot practice speech pathology in Michigan.
I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. Anawa, you love to argue and you love to justify. And until you realize that there were options, there are always options. There are always ways. There is always opportunities that are out there to use what you have and to succeed. But no one can help you succeed, girl, until you take personal responsibility, until the have-tos are bygones, and that you simply just say, this is the choice that I made, therefore this is the result that I have, and I'm the only one that's going to fix it, period. End of story.
I look up to you, Dani. I see, you had, experiences where you were homeless at one point, and, those are your stories. right? Those are your stories about what happened.
Anoa, I'm really sorry, but I'm really
sorry.
sorry, and I've never had to do this before. We're going to stop talking right now. I've got some other callers. I don't want to argue with you. And so one day you're going to come to that place when you face someone else who's saying the same thing to you right now, when they're arguing with you, justifying, I'm trying to help you to succeed. I'm trying to help you move forward. And I simply found, and I told you from the beginning, you're not going to like what I'm going to tell you. And you don't like what I'm going to tell you, and that's okay. I had to come to the place where I had to stop blaming, justifying, and shifting responsibility, and simply just go, I screwed this up. I own this. I own this. It's not my ex-husband. It's not my parents. It's not my current husband. It's not my circumstances. I own this. I made the choice to do X. I made the choice to do Y. I made the choice to do Z. And these choices led me to this place. How do I fix it? Because we will take those same words. I have to go into further debt now because this disaster happened. I have to go further into debt because that guy screwed me. I now have to go further in debt because it's a pattern. It's a poverty pattern that gets in our head. And it literally is like a tape. I have to because, I have to because, I have to because. And that rules our financial lives. It rules all of our decisions because it is in the mainframe of our brain that says, I have to because. I have to because he did this. I have to do this because she did that. I have to because they didn't do this. I have to because I was left with no other choice. Stop it. This pattern has to stop. If you want to have wild success and you want to be the overcomer that you desire to be and you want to rise above just as you already have, you were the first in your family to graduate with a degree, then you will be the first to be debt-free. But the thing that has to be killed is excuses, justifications, and shifting blame. Once we do that, man, financial success is simple. So is relationship success. So is success in every other area of your life. And you no longer have to defend or argue. You don't. You're simple with responsibility and work a plan. This is Dani Johnson. We'll continue with more after this.
There's one statement that completely blocks people from getting free from their debt, and you may have said it today. Do you know what it is? Dani will show you next on The Dani Johnson Show.
Hi, I'm Dani Johnson. The most common question I get usually are from people who are trying to juggle their life. They've got kids who are involved in all kinds of activities. They've got business or their job, finances, trying to get out of debt, plus all their church activities and all the volunteer activities. And they're pulling their hair out going, how do I juggle this all? Man, I once lived just like that until I learned Time Secrets. Time Secrets showed me how to be able to cut my hours from 100 hours a week that I was working down to 20 hours a week and tripled my income as a direct result with what I learned. Time Secrets also showed me how to get my priorities in order, which healed up my marriage. And I became a mother that I was proud of versus becoming the mother I didn't want to be. And so if you feel like your world is running around in all kinds of different circles, you can fix that. Call 888-757-8880. Again, 888-757-8880 for Time Secrets.
Straight talk, real answers. This is The Dani Johnson Show.
Dani, I have so much debt, I don't even know where to start. Now, that very statement in itself shows something. Are you the kind of person that when you get overwhelmed, you freeze? Well, I promise you, it doesn't have to do just with your debt. This probably has to do with your weight. It probably has to do with things that you're handling at work. It probably has to do with problems you're having at home or problems that you have out in public. This is a mindset that keeps people in debt and keeps them stuck and failing. And so when you simply say, the problem is so big, I don't even know where to start, keeps you from starting. And you're actually using the size of the problem to be the thing as an excuse that keeps you from the kind of success that you should be having. You got to start somewhere, and you got to start small, and you got to start right where you're at. And it doesn't happen until you take personal responsibility for where you're at. You know, I was a homeless woman for a month, and I was 50 pounds overweight. Why? Because I shoved my face with things I shouldn't have been eating. And I was $35,000 in debt. Why? Because I was an idiot, and I made the choice to let a perfect stranger have my credit cards. That was dumb. That was my bad. I was an idiot for doing that. I made so many bad choices. And for 30 days that I was homeless, I blamed my ex-husband. I blamed him for the money issues I had. I blamed him for my weight. I blamed him for everything. I blamed him for the business that I had lost. I blamed him for everything. And it wasn't until the moment that I stopped blaming. It wasn't until I stopped stewing where I just released it and just went, I gotta fix this. I shouldn't have done that. I should not have done those things. Now I'm reaping what I had sown. Now I have to be the one to fix it. So if you're that person that you get overwhelmed, right? I know so many people that do that. Or just like, gosh, it's just so big. I don't know where to start. Quit using the size of your debt as an excuse not to attack it. You have to stop living like that. Otherwise, you're going to wake up 25 years from now more in debt with a bigger problem, still paralyzed, not knowing what to do with it, with actually bigger problems than an actual debt. All right, we're talking about debt, how to tackle it, what impact it's having on your life, and how to change it. We've got Marian Zielinski from Pennsylvania. Welcome to the show.
Hi, Dani.
So tell me, what has debt done and how has it caused you to feel for your life?
Oh, it just, I don't even know where to start. It's not as bad as it was years ago.
Yeah.
I've gotten a little ahead, and then I take 2 steps back.
Yeah.
Go another step or 2, take 2, 3 steps back.
Marian, it sounds like losing weight. Right?
I have to do that too.
But it was so funny as you were saying this. Like, I just got the picture. It's like, oh, I gained 10 pounds. I lost 5. I gained another 10. I lost 5. It's like, you know what I mean? That whole thing of like, 2 steps forward, 3 steps back. People do that with their weight. People do that with their health. They do that with their relationships. They do that with their finances. So it sounds like we've got a pattern here with the debt.
Yeah, there were times, like, I've been on disability since '99, and I brought myself back up to health where I could work part-time. Yeah. I got sick again. Then I went back to work full-time. Well, I did too much. I worked like 113 hours in 2 weeks.
Wow.
And I guess I did too much. And
you guessed?
I ended up having... Huh?
You guessed you did too much?
Yeah. Well, the money coming in was good.
Yeah.
And I felt good at the time, but afterwards I ended up having to take 4 months off work.
Yep. Which again is, well, and here, let's talk about this. That actually is a self-sabotaging pattern in your life where you start to get ahead and then you fall further back than where you started from. Mm-hmm. If you look at it, this is not just in your adult life. Look way back. Where did this pattern come from? When did this start? When was the first time that you started to reach towards accomplishing something and then had a major setback and sat back and kind of sulked for a while in that setback?
Yeah, I could remember where. I was going to go to school right out of high school. I was going to go to college.
Yeah.
And I went to work to help my mom out because she was dying of cancer at the time. So I was 20 years old. I didn't go to school. I went to work, and my mom died, and then everything just started falling apart.
I think it has to do with something way before that. I think it's before you're 20, where you began to reach towards something and then just had the rug pulled out from under you. So here's what I want you to search out. Because what happens is that subconsciously we begin to become afraid of any kind of success. We begin to fear that it's not going to happen, so we literally sabotage ourselves before we get there. And so I want you to look back and just, I don't know if you're a praying woman like myself, and if you're not, that's okay, but you can even just ask your own mind. Your mind is like a computer. You ask it information, it spits information back out to you. But if you look back and you think, man, when did this pattern start? Because, okay, when you were 20, that's a long time ago, or at least I'm assuming you're somewhere around my age. It was a long time ago for me.
But it was a long time ago.
Exactly. So, but if this thing continues, right, there's a consistent pattern that simply says, and then you get to a point of, forget about it, I'm not even going to try because I'm not going to succeed anyway. So something happened along the way to where this repeat button is on. And it is, I'm going to repeat my past of I start to get up, but I'm set back, and then I sulk for a while. Then I get sick of sulking. I step back up. I start to get close to where I want to go, and then I get knocked down again. It's as though we do it to ourselves. We create this self-fulfilling prophecy because of a belief system that we have in our head. And then you spend most of your life completely embarrassed and feeling like you can't do anything. It all starts...
Sounds like my life.
Yes. And it starts from the root. And there's a root there, and I don't know if your parents were like that as well. But, Marion, there is a belief system inside of you. You see, there's so much information on how to pay off debt. Like right here at DaniJohnson.com, man. There's a free book, right? First Steps to Wealth. It's a free book. 2 chapters on war on debt, on how to pay off all of your debt. But then you have to ask yourself, why don't I do that? Why don't I follow these simple instructions? Why don't I step out and follow through? Why do I stop doing what is actually working? These are the things you've got to ask yourself.
Yeah.
These are the things that we deal with, by the way, at Creating a Dynasty, is getting to those root issues that create these terrible patterns in our lives to where we're just screwing ourselves. And so you need to go back, Marion. You need to go back and begin to ask God or talk to your own brain and find out, like, when was the first time that I started to succeed at something and something happened? And then when was the next time? And then when's the next time? It's almost like you'll create a graph and you'll see this pattern. And guess what? You created the pattern yourself because of the emotions that happened during this experience. So from that place, then there is a belief system that starts, because our feelings and emotions create beliefs. When we've had the same feelings and emotions again and again and again, it now imprints a belief into our brain, into our computer, if you will. And so then that produces actions. And now we keep acting like the person that is going to self-sabotage. We keep acting like the person who gets close and then pulls back. And always in the form of a victim. Always. Circumstances outside of your control. You don't need to live that way any longer. Go back to the root. You need to forgive whatever is involved there and begin to move yourself forward. This is Dani Johnson. We'll continue with more after this.
Dani will be back with more expert business, money, and relationship advice to help you live the uncommon life. This is the Dani Johnson Show.
The whole story of how I went from homeless to millions is right here in this book, First Steps to Wealth. I'd love to give you a free copy of this book. Just dial 888-757-8880. You can get your free copy of this book. It's like a real book, my friend. You can get an ebook copy for free right now, or if you'd like to pay the shipping to get this $15 book to your house, I'd be happy to send it to you. 888-757-8880. Get your copy of First Steps to Wealth today and begin on a brand new path of some great success.
Be sure to tell a friend about the Dani Johnson Show. It just might be the key to the breakthrough they need.
Debt is killing marriages. It is hurting children. It is bringing a suffering into millions of people's lives all over the world. But it doesn't have to pull you in. And if you're already in, it doesn't have to keep you in. So many people are in denial concerning their debt. They really are. They're in absolute denial. They think that it is only a financial issue. No. I've heard countless stories, thousands of them actually, of how it's torn up marriages, how it causes a major division between the parents and the children, that the kids grew up resenting money and resenting their parents because their parents always talking about money and always in fear about not being able to pay their bills. We see it with the lack of entrepreneurialism that is around the world today because of fear and because of debt. Here's the bottom line. If you find yourself in debt, please do what it takes to pay it off. Don't make money your God any longer, and don't think about it all the time. Turn that problem into a task and begin to attack it. Now you might say, but Dani, I don't know how. Would you like to know how? Are you willing to follow instructions if I'm willing to give them to you? I'm going to give you our recipe that helped us pay off our debt, that has helped countless hundreds of thousands of people around the globe annihilate millions and millions and millions of dollars worth of debt in a very short period of time. Are you ready for your recipe? If you have a pen and paper handy, write this down. 866-760-8255. Again, that's 866-760-8255. Here's the recipe. It's called First Steps to Wealth. There's 2 chapters in here about annihilating your debt, plus a whole kinds of other bonuses that are inside of here. We'd like to give it to you for free. You can get an ebook free right now if you go to DaniJohnson.com. That's D-A-N-I Johnson.com. Get that free copy there. Or if you want a physical copy, if you're like me, you like to touch it, you like to write in it, you like to dog ear it, then you go ahead and pay the shipping for the book to get to your house. We will put the $15 book into your hands if you cover the shipping and the handling. Plus, we have a few extra bonuses that are available to you absolutely free. Get your instruction manual now. Here's my final recipe. Here it is. It has helped millions of people. It's going to help you. You can do this. You can come out of the slavery and the suffering and the embarrassment and the suffocating feeling of your breath being stolen away from you. You can overcome this issue of debt. And you're going to rise above. And you're going to turn around. You're going to help other people also come out of debt, to come out of that bondage. You're going to be an inspiration to your kids. You're going to be an inspiration to the people that you love, that you work with. You're going to be an inspiration to your community as you rise up out of the situation you're in right now and become that person that our world needs right now. They need you. Your friends, your family members, they need you. So get your copy right now. It's free. First Steps to Wealth. DaniJohnson.com or 866-760-8255. Don't mess around with this another day. It's time to attack what's been attacking you and your family. God bless you. We hope that you enjoyed today's program. Talk to you tomorrow.
Did you hear that last segment? Do you know someone else who needs to hear it? Go to DaniJohnson.com, find today's show, and share it online. Join us every weekday at 7 a.m. for more insights that will help you get to the life you've always wanted.
Hi, welcome to the Dani Johnson YouTube channel. We're super excited to have you here. And every single week, we're going to make sure that you get awesome videos for your business, career, making more money, saving money, annihilating your debt, as well as helping you to handle those really tough problems that you have with people at home, as well as at work, and taking those really good relationships you already have and causing them to flourish and grow. All you have to do is click that subscribe button right down here. Click that and you'll be subscribed to an amazing community of people, as well as some great videos that will help to improve your life. Thanks so much for being here. Subscribe now would be good. Just click it. I know you can see it. It's somewhere down here. Okay, talk to you later. Bye.